on, y'all? It is Thursday, April 23rd, and I am back with another stream of the Kyle Petty Show. I've got two full conversations coming to you later this evening with Zach Levy and Christine Boehm. Let me tell you, we had a really great time this past week and a half. So lots to share with you. I also want to discuss, some other things that are going on in the community. Obviously, like shows that are opening and closing. And I want to get into the Jersey Boys performance that's coming up that is sensory sensitive, right? This is the first, at least that we know of, on Long Island, for a main stage production. So, few things to talk about. Let's get into it. Why am I here? Oh, this is a mess. Okay. Well, I don't know how that translated to anybody else, but here we are. So we're back with the Kyle Petty Show. And before I get into some of my conversations that I had these past couple of weeks or so, I wanted to talk about the sensory sensitive performance of Jersey Boys that's coming up. This is on May 3rd. That's a Sunday at 6:30. Boom. As my good friend Gina used to say, p.m. 6:30 p.m. This is a first, for Long Island theater, at least that we know of. Most main stages do not get, sensory friendly or sensory sensitive performances. And what's a little bit different, I wanted to at least just give it a little highlight, give it a little shout, because sensory sensitive is different from what you know of sensory friendly. So a sensory sensitive performance, they're getting a little bit more granular. They're getting a little bit deeper. And they are making certain accommodations, for our friends that want to come see shows and participate in theater that are living with autism, right? So, they have unique challenges. But what's interesting about this, so they are lowering the volume, right, for these patrons, so like things are not too overstimulating for them. They will be featuring some gradual lighting changes, right, so nothing comes as a big shock. Again, nothing's too jarring. Content and sensory advisory, so when things feel a little bit crazy, or like there's going to be something that could maybe make somebody feel a little bit unsettled, there's going to be an explanation and a warning ahead of time. And it's about leaving those lights up, making sure that people can be seen, are seen, they feel comfortable. And there's some destigmatizing. Ooh, that's a tough word now. Destigmatizing movement and vocalizations during the performance. Because we don't want people to feel as if, because they've made this sound, because they made a move, that all of a sudden now they are some kind of a disruption. You're not a disruption. Everyone is welcome in theater, especially here on Long Island, right? So this is the first one, first main stage performance that'll be featuring this sensory sensitive performance. So we thank Christine Fitzgerald for really spearheading the charge on that one, right? So that's special. So that's May 3rd at 6:30. Over at CM Performing Arts Center for Jersey Boys. So that's the information on that. So next, I want to show you some of my conversation that I had with Zach Levy. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have known Zach Levy for a long time. We're literally talking like 20 years or so at this point. And we had just the best time talking about like some of our old just CAP stories and CAP moments and things like that. While I don't get out there as much as I would like to, and I don't get to see, my CAP friends and family as often as I'd like, a lot of those memories are so special to me, and it was really nice to kind of recount some of them and have a good chuckle. So you'll see that really in the full conversation that I have with Zach. That'll be up later this evening at 10 p.m. on all of my socials. But you can at least get to hear him discuss some of his experience rehearsing for Jesus Christ Superstar, which is opening at CAP Syosset. I believe that's on May 3rd, if I have my dates correct. Oh my goodness, I have so many notes, so many things here. Ooh, not the 3rd, but the 2nd, really close. I think I had the 3rd in my head because of the sensory sensitive performance. But yeah, so May 2nd He's playing Caiaphas. So we talked a lot about his experience in that, and I can't wait to share that with you. But again, our full conversation will be on the website and all my socials later this evening. But here's Zach Levy talking about his experience in Jesus Christ Superstar. About the show. Most people should know what Jesus Christ Superstar is, but if they're brand new to the theater scene, what do you tell them? What is the show about?
I tell them it's a rock opera
Hmm.
that tells the story of the final weeks of Jesus Christ's life,
Hmm.
and I say the music is by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who wrote any of the best musicals you've ever heard in your life. He wrote the music to, and he didn't miss with this one.
No, I
Um,
didn't.
it's so good, and I've been obsessed with this show since 2007 when you met me. I've listened to the same version of the cast recording since then, and it still feels new to me.
Which version?
Um,
The London one?
no, it's got it's like half German or Austrian.
Oh.
Um, it's this one. Hello.
Oh. I don't know that one at all.
Yes, it's called like a rock opera because it's like German.
Huh.
Um, and it's Drew Sarich is like my Broadway favorite of all time, and
Okay.
He's playing Jesus. And if I was a fan of one person in the theater world, it's Drew Sarich, and he's like been in every role in that show. Like it's like the best recording of him playing Jesus, and
Hmm. Is it in English?
yeah, the whole thing's in English. There's one
Oh,
part in
awesome.
German where Pilate does like a 30-second like mini monologue in German or Austrian. I'm not really sure.
Okay. I didn't even know that version existed. So you're playing Caiaphas. Who is Caiaphas to the story?
Caiaphas is the one of the high priests, and him and his father Annas, as I found out from my friend John.
Hmm.
Um, his father Annas and the other priests want to stop Jesus Christ. They're saying what he's doing is not correct. He's claiming himself to be a god, and in the context of the story, my character does not think that he is,
Hmm.
and he says this will be the downfall of Israel, of our nation, if we let him keep going. So my character kind of smooth talks Judas into leading me to him and getting him arrested, which ultimately leads to him going on trial by Pilate and then being crucified.
Hmm.
So I really start the whole thing.
Yeah.
I
So
really,
basically, it's all your fault.
it's all. a- a-
Hmm. So why did you want to play Caiaphas? The role
um,
speaks to you.
there is just very few roles in musical theater I can say, I got it. Hold my drink.
Hmm.
Um, there's very few roles where I'm like, I could sing that. I can wake up in the morning and do a morning show if I had. I'm very comfortable with the vocals. It sits really nicely in my range, and not a lot of roles do in modern musical theater. Not many things are written for Mr. Low Baritone over here.
Hmm.
A lot of things push my range when I do a show nowadays. But Caiaphas, I'm just super comfortable. It's a commanding character. Um, and I love the idea of being able to do it with my friend Chris Russo, for those who know him.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be Annis with me. We were cast together. And due to unforeseen circumstances, one of our Jesuses has to be on vocal rest for a while. So Chris ended up being Jesus Christ in the production, which is a treat. Like, come see him. He's incredible. He's the best
Right.
singer you've ever heard in your life. Um, so I'm not doing it with him as my like partner anymore, but he's still in the show with me, which is awesome.
Right. That's excellent. So you're saying like the role you feel like really fits you very well, but what's been one of the biggest challenges that you've seen so far through the rehearsal process?
I don't think I realized how small of a part Caiaphas is until you're sitting at rehearsal,
Oh.
doing other things, watching people get to be part of stuff, and like you're on your computer doing work for school. Um, um, he's Caiaphas. I feel like is a lot of hurry up and wait. You get to rehearsal. It's just a lot of you get to rehearsal. You're definitely needed for rehearsal. Like the show, like you pop in like every like 15, 10 minutes, 10
Hmm.
15 minutes. But like I don't know. I'm watching the show a lot, and again, I'm in awe of the talent in the room with me. It's just a lot of downtime, and I'm not really used to that when I do a show. Um, Not this much.
That's fair. That's fair. So you have a lot of time to watch everybody else doing what you're doing, right? So, what is one of your favorite moments in the show that you're not a part of?
The best, I think, the best part of any production is the Last Supper into Gethsemane. It is just a banger into a banger. And if you get a good Jesus and Judas like we have right now, we have Anthony, Orlina, and Chris Russo splitting Jesus, and we have Shiloh Bennett and Sean Ryan splitting Judas. They just both knock it out of the park. And I just think it's like that. That's really where the show really like grabs the audience's attention. Like this is a brilliant piece of theater. It's just a beautiful song, beautiful moment in the show, and it's just a banger. And when I get to watch when I get to watch my friends sing these numbers, and especially when I get to see my very close friend Chris sing "Get Set of Me," and he knows I've been a fan of this number when he sings it for years. He's incredible. There's very few times in theater where I could watch someone perform something and I not look at my watch for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have no instincts to do anything else but just be captivated at that part of the show.
Yeah, and just be really engaged and enthralled in the moment. But you're really
Yeah.
no stranger to the stage, right? You've done a number of different shows during your time here in Long Island theaters. So, what are some of your favorite shows and roles that you've played?
Well, I'm gonna say my favorite show I ever did was my first CAP main stage show.
Oh yeah,
And that was Annie Warbucks. I was 17. I finally qualified for.
Listen, let me tell you something. We had a fantastic time after this, like swapping old time like cap stories and things like that. So like this is going to be up at 10 o'clock tonight. I really encourage you to check this out. I haven't laughed this hard in a while. Like Zach is absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for spending some time with me here on the Kyle Petty Show. We also got into cats, right? Like, and we kind of fangirled a little bit over the production over at CM, but Zach took it a step further, like, and discussed like why he loves the show, why it's special to him, and why the CM production was really, really cool to him. And a couple of people got some shout outs, handing out some flyers, some flowers to those who deserve it. Like, so that was a great conversation. So I hope you check that out. What I have now is Christine Boehm. Now, Christine most recently directed the 39 Steps over at Theater 3, which is currently running over there. That's not closing until, let me see, May 3rd. All right, so there's still some time to catch that one. This was a great time. My review for the 39 Steps will actually be out on my website tomorrow. You can find it on thekylepettyshow.com. But yeah, we had a great time talking about that show and the revival of her podcast, Feelin Lit. Feelin L.I.T, right? Long Island Theater. Very clever, very cute. Her theme this season is going to be dinner and a show. And she's going to tell you a little bit about that. We're going to certainly get into that. So after this word from one of our very special sponsors, we're going to get into some of the best bits of my conversation with Christine Boehm. Child, as your favorite big back brother, I can absolutely tell you that we did not get to be this size by eating bad food. And when I'm looking for good chicken, there's only one place that I'm going, and that's Hot Chicken Mama over in Blue Point. Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Who opens up a small business in the middle of a pandemic and is still standing to talk about it over 5 years later? Okay? The proof is in the receipts. So if you're looking for some good chicken in the form of a sandwich or a tender, I know you better be at Hot Chicken Mama. Get into business. Yeah. Let's talk about the 39 Steps. You directed this at Theater 3. Tell us some things about this show. It sounds wildly unique.
Yes, it is. It's a ton of fun. It is a madcap sort of spy mystery where 4 actors play. People love to say it's like over 1,000 roles. It's really not. There's much less than that, but they play a tremendous amount of roles amongst the 4 of them. And essentially, the plot is one man, Richard Hannay, played by Michael Amon, brilliantly so and devilishly handsome, goes on a race to sort of prove his innocence because he is accidentally caught up in this murderous spy ring in 1930s London. So it is so much fun, very silly. People like to say like Alfred Hitchcock meets Monty Python, very silly British humor, but also it's directed by an American at the end of the day. So I do think there's a little something for everybody in there.
Right. Oh, I can't wait to see this. I'm really, really excited. Can you tell me, do you have a favorite moment in the show?
I do. There is a moment where our 2 clowns, played by Jay Hughes and Dan Schindler, they are like two sides of the same apple. I don't know. What a horrible word.
Coin.
Good, two sides of the same coin. Yes.
Yeah.
They are just twins on stage. They have this brilliant synchronous sort of chemistry. And they do this scene where in the course of 2 minutes, they play six characters back to back to back to back in rotation, in succession. So it is
Wild.
so wild, and but it is so much fun to watch. And you're just, as an audience member, your eyes are just taken back and forth, and you're giggling because you're building in, oh no, is somebody going to drop a hat? Is somebody going to trip? What's going to happen? And it is so fast paced too. And they've got these different physicalizations, different accents from Scottish to Royal British, like Royal RP. It is fascinating. It is so much fun. And the two of them specifically are just such unbelievable talents.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay. Now, obviously, we've talked a lot about how there's so many different characters in the show while you've got a cast of four. So, what were one of your biggest challenges as a director, kind of like wrangling that situation?
Definitely. It was a challenging piece for sure. I've done the murder mystery before. I've done four actors play more than one character before, but I've never done them in a situation quite like this. So I do think for me as a director and as a person, my biggest challenge is always the control and that I try to take over a space. There's nobody that I had growing up as a director that looked like me or worked like me. And so I had to sort of kind of devise my own path through a lot of wonderful mentors in this space, of course, but control is something like I've built this style of directing, of running a rehearsal space, and I'm so desperate to keep it that, precious and safe. But my biggest challenge was kind of letting go and letting myself be guided as much as I was guiding the show. And I had no four better people, plus our fabulous stage manager, Melissa Troxler, to experiment with letting go a little bit in the rehearsal space and just seeing what could happen. And I'm so proud of myself for doing that, but also the cast for making it so easy on me and so collaborative from start to finish.
I love that. That's awesome. And I also like that you mentioned a little bit about your creative process there, how you've learned from some other people. That's kind of what helped guide you through this process. So tell me a little bit more about how your creative process in this production went. I was speaking to Matthew Sirico, my good sis, and he was basically saying how there were moments where they would take their hat off and they were somebody different and put the hat right back on, and now there's somebody different. How did you navigate directing that so that in a way that character would be different enough that the audience would notice this shift?
Right. Well, we started with table work. Which is a rarity on Long Island at times to have a process that allots for table work, which is, for those who don't know, we sit around a table and just that. We work through scenes, through characters. We talk about the importance. We talk, Jay's a great example because and I don't think they'll think this is a read or anything, but they're a very outside-in actor. They like to physicalize first and find the intention and motivation through how their body physically changes, how their voice might change too. And I think that's a great example also of that experimenting with letting go. Those beginning rehearsals were a lot of me not necessarily seeing 100% eye to eye with one person's interpretation of one element of their character, but trusting in the process and, giving us all time to see what sticks, see what we're not just laughing about on night one as a group, and because there was so many laughs during that process for sure, but what are we still laughing at consistently third night into tech? What needs to be trimmed? So at the beginning, there's a lot of space for discovery and collaboration. Everybody's voice is important in a rehearsal space, and it sort of melds into, I think Walt Disney used to call it plussing, but that's kind of what my role developed into with this group as well. They are such skilled performers, and by a certain point in that rehearsal process, I was just like, I think this could be funnier if we tweak this moment, or wait a breath longer, or stamp your foot as well when you're on the line, that sort of thing. Those plussing moments were so much fun, but you are locked in as a director from the first go, and you're just watching the intricacies to make each moment as funny as possible.
I love that. I love the idea of plussing. I've never heard that before, but it sounds to me like we're just amplifying what is going on and just offering a slight tweak. I'm not trying to change what you're doing. I love what you're doing, but let's just do it slightly different. Just tweak it just a little bit to make sure that we get the most impact from your intention.
Absolutely that.
Awesome. that makes me want to be in a Christine Boehm show. I gotta say, like
Please.
that, like makes me want to be. Now you've directed a number of different productions here on Long Island. Is there anything that you can like highlight as one of your favorites?
I have a lot of favorites. This is like choosing between children, although there are some children that I'd prefer never to look at in the face again. But
We had our experience and we're done.
exactly.
Yes.
But I did directed a production of King Lear not too long ago with Linda May as the title role, who's an actor here on Long Island. She's a prolific figure in the Long Island theater scene.
She
Yes,
sure is. Yep.
she
Love
is
her.
a glorious person and another glorious collaborator too. Where I think I bombarded her in the dressing room of Side by Sondheim, which I directed a couple years ago too. And I said I want to do Lear, and I think that you have to be Lear. And she was like, she was mid lipstick, and she's like, let's do it. And like did not even break stride putting the lip on. That was a special experience. I got to do like this celestial witchy vibe. It was really kind of threw the patriarchy on its head of that story and challenged perceptions of what these characters could look like and sound like and interact. So that was so much fun to work with that cast. Another group of just really devoted actors and collaborators.
And that was at Carriage House, right?
Yes, that was at Carriage House in like 2023, 2024 maybe.
That
Not too long
feels
ago.
like so long ago, but like it really wasn't. But I
Yeah.
remember seeing the posts about King Lear. That feels
Yes.
like 407 years ago. like
Exactly.
not.
Yep.
Now you've got like extensive experience on both sides of the stage. Would you? What would you say is your favorite, or can you say? Do you prefer working as a creative or working as a performer?
It is, I guess the better way I can answer this, because again, kind of like it's like two sides of the same me. I am attracted more to the makeup, the essence of a project than I am to what role I will fill in that project at this point in my life. So is it a production that I trust the people involved, or if I'm directing, do I know I could get a good group of talent and a good group of collaborators, kind people to work with? And then as an actor, am I trusting the director? Do I kind of have a sense of who else will be involved? Do I trust this process that will be safe and healthy and good for me to be a part of? And am I getting paid is the other It's one of those, oh my God.
Now, usually at this point, I ask people like what they've got coming up, but we know a little bit about what you might have coming up because you have a wee bit of an announcement, right? You're
I do.
reviving a past project. Tell us some things.
Yes. So about 5 years ago, during COVID times, trigger warning, I started a podcast called Feelin L.I.T, which is Feelin L.I.T, standing for Long Island Theater. And it was basically, the whole premise was I talked to people in the community, listened to stories, and I love having, much like this podcast serves, love having an opportunity to talk about theater, nonprofit organizational theater in a constructive, positive, funny setting. It was just a treat and a joy. And to have sort of this library of Long Island theater history too, talking to people like Scott Hofer, Linda May, having these conversations with individuals and hearing just what they could share and their wisdom and their mishaps and stories. So that was mostly about their theater experience and people that they love working with, shows that they love working on. But I'm going to be coming out with a season 2 this summer. I'm very excited. It's called Feelin L.I.T Season 2, Dinner and a Show. And the premise is I take out a member of the Long Island theater community. Totally on me, don't worry, tabs on me. We go to dinner, we go see a show here on Long Island, and then we spend a couple of minutes talking about what we thought of the show. But the meat of the episode is on that person, their contributions to the community, the theater that we're going to, learning about the history of the show. So just kind of touching on the whole gambit of elements that could pop up when going to see a show on Long Island. It's such a special experience, and I love the whole dinner before a show vibe.
Yeah.
So you got a cocktail, you dish over spare ribs about such and such and so and so. But again, I love talking to people. I love what you're doing with your platform, and I love
thank you.
I love the idea of being a sister show in the sphere that
Yeah.
again, nothing but love and support, and which is why I'm hoping, Kyle, that you will be a guest on Feelin Lit Season 2 Dinner and a Show.
You don't even have to ask. That's an absolute yes. Of course, I would love to do that. No, that sounds like an absolute blast. I really, I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah.
I'm so excited. We'll pick a show. I'm hoping it's going to be Young Frankenstein.
I don't see why it couldn't. I don't
Yeah.
see why. Thank you so much to Christine for for being on the show and for agreeing to have me on your podcast. I can't wait. We're going to have a really, really great time. So you can check the Feelin Lit podcast account on Instagram for more information when that comes out. That's Feelin Lit Pod. Thank you very much. All right, well, let's get into the buzz. What's going on in Long Island Theater this weekend?
I asked if we should document our studio session and make like a documentary.
Susie's world is starting to crumble down. She's so fucking clueless that she can't look around. I wish I loved anything like she loves the sound of Daddy's little princess and Mommy's little nightmare.
What's the buzz? Well, I can tell you what's happening. Okay, so this is what I've got going on this weekend. The 39 Steps over at Theater 3, they are continuing their run. They don't close until May 3rd, so you still have a little bit of time. My review for that will be out tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow morning, so keep your eyes peeled on thecaiaphas.com on all of our socials. You'll find it there. CM Performing Arts Center is continuing their run of Jersey Boys until May 17th. My review for that will be out on Monday. The Cultural Arts Playhouse, they are closing their TYA production of Willy Wonka this weekend. All right, so last chance to get in there for that. But Jesus Christ Superstar, starring Zach Levy, that'll be opening on May 2nd. All right, May 2nd. Make sure you check their socials to understand exactly what his show dates are. I understand he is double cast, or at least I think he is. So there's that. Cap Merrick, they are closing their run of School of Rock this weekend. And they have Matilda opening on the 30th. That's of May. Thank you. So you got a little bit of time there. But yes, School of Rock starring our good friend Dominic Napoli. That's closing this weekend. So give that a gander. North Fork Community Theater, they are dark this weekend, but they have Anything Goes opening on May 14th. That's going to be here before you know it. All right, so mark your calendars. What else do we have? James Street Players. They are closing their production of Jesus Christ Superstar this weekend. All right, so if you have some time, check that one out. Also closing a production this weekend is Eastline Theater. Production of Appropriate, playing at Beck Arts Center. That is closing. And Manus Studio Theater. They are opening their production of Company, the oft not done show of Company. That is opening tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, tomorrow. Sorry, we're a mess tonight. They're opening tomorrow, the 24th. Okay. I will have my auditions page on the CaiaphasShow.com updated in time for your Friday hoopla. And it's Friday rush. It's not a rush. Ain't nobody in no hurry. There's no auditions opening over the weekend, but that's okay. We'll make sure it's updated in time so you can kind of plan your days ahead. But I think that's really all we got. So thank you for supporting this project. Thank you for supporting live theater here on Long Island. You can catch my full conversations with Christine and Zach on all the Kyle Petty socials, including the website at 10 p.m. this evening. And thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being here. And we will see you very soon. All right. Be blessed and be best.